Being the daughter of Whitney Houston came with an unimaginable burden. Bobbi Kristina Brown was born into a life of glamour, fame, and fortune, but beneath the surface, she lived in a world filled with turmoil, addiction, and heartbreak. Her life, eerily mirroring her mother's tragic downfall, was a cautionary tale of the cost of living in the public eye. This documentary uncovers the hauntingly parallel fates of Whitney and Bobbi Kristina, shedding light on a young woman who fought to define herself while battling the ghosts of her family's past. The beginning of a dream. In 1993, at the height of her fame, Whitney Houston had everything: chart-topping music, a successful acting career, and global adoration. But what she desired most was to be a mother. When Bobbi Kristina was born, Whitney's world seemed complete. She saw her daughter as her salvation, the one thing that would bring her true fulfillment beyond the stage and studio. She spoke often in interviews about how motherhood was the most important role she had ever played, and how she wanted to give her daughter the world. From the beginning, Whitney was dedicated to being the best mother she could be. She was protective, doting, and loving. But life on the road was grueling, and the pressures of fame, coupled with personal demons, would soon take their toll. Despite her best efforts, she struggled to balance her career with raising Chrissy in a stable environment. The glamour of Hollywood often masked the deeper issues within their family, and Chrissy was raised in an atmosphere that was both privileged and chaotic. A childhood in chaos. While Bobbi Kristina grew up in the glow of superstardom, her home life was anything but stable. Whitney and Bobbi Brown's relationship was tumultuous, riddled with public fights, substance abuse, and scandal. Despite their best efforts to shield their daughter from the chaos, Chrissy was inevitably caught in the crossfire. She traveled the world with her mother, witnessing firsthand the highs and lows of fame. By the time she was old enough to understand, she had seen her parents at their best and at their worst. Their reality show, Being Bobbi Brown, aired in 2005, exposing the dysfunctional dynamic between Whitney and Bobbi. The series, intended as a glimpse into their lives, turned into a train wreck, showcasing erratic behavior, public meltdowns, and the heartbreaking reality of addiction. For an 11-year-old Chrissy, the experience was damaging. School wasn't an escape either. Chrissy faced ridicule from classmates who had seen the show and read the tabloids. The child of two of the most famous people in the world, she often felt alone, isolated, and forced to defend her parents' actions. The struggle for normalcy. Despite her parents' struggles, Chrissy loved them unconditionally. She was particularly close to her mother, seeing her not just as a parent, but as a best friend. However, this closeness often blurred the lines between maternal guidance and companionship. Instead of a structured and stable childhood, Chrissy found herself playing the role of caretaker, worrying about her mother's well-being more than a child ever should. Whitney, aware of her own spiraling addiction, made a bold move to leave Bobbi Brown in 2006. She sought a fresh start in California, bringing Chrissy with her. But the damage had already been done. Chrissy struggled with the separation, yearning for the father she still adored. Reports later emerged that she had attempted to harm herself during this time, showcasing just how deeply she was affected by her parents' toxic relationship. The influence of Nick Gordon. During this period, a new figure emerged in Chrissy's life, Nick Gordon. Allegedly taken in by Whitney as a surrogate son, Nick had been around since Chrissy's teenage years. However, their relationship would later take a controversial turn. After Whitney's tragic death in 2012, Chrissy was devastated. Her mother had drowned in a hotel bathtub, just hours after saving Chrissy from a near-drowning incident of her own. The shock of losing her only parent was too much to bear, and she spiraled into a deep depression. Seeking comfort, she clung to Nick, who swiftly transitioned from being a brother figure to her romantic partner. This relationship was met with skepticism and concern, especially from her father, Bobbi Brown. Nick was known for his manipulative tendencies. Reports surfaced that he had been controlling, monitoring Chrissy's finances, and isolating her from those who truly cared for her. While he claimed to be her protector, many suspected that he was driven by something more sinister: the vast inheritance left behind by Whitney. A tragic downward spiral. Chrissy inherited a $20 million fortune from her mother, distributed in increments. At just 19, she had yet to receive the bulk of it, but she was still financially independent. However, she and Nick were reckless with money, reportedly spending extravagantly on shopping sprees, vacations, and partying. Her reality show, The Houstons, On Our Own, was another disastrous decision. Just months after her mother's death, cameras were rolling, documenting her grief for the world to see. Many believed the show exploited her vulnerability rather than offering her the space to heal privately. Chrissy's struggles continued behind the scenes. She turned to substances, mirroring the same addictions that had plagued her mother. Those around her grew increasingly worried, noting her frail appearance and erratic behavior. But Chrissy was determined to prove she was okay, insisting she was in control. The final days. By early 2015, Chrissy had reconnected with her father and expressed her desire to leave Atlanta and start fresh in Los Angeles. She wanted to pursue her music career, step out of her mother's shadow, and reclaim her independence. Her father even bought her a plane ticket she was set to leave in just 2 days. On January 29, she posted cryptic tweets hinting at resilience. "I get hit, I get up." Many now look back at those words as a plea for help. Then, on January 31, the unthinkable happened. Chrissy was found unresponsive in her bathtub face down, just like her mother. She was rushed to the hospital and placed in a medically induced coma. But after 6 months of futile treatment, she was declared dead on July 26, 2015. The autopsy report was inconclusive. The toxicology results showed a lethal mix of drugs and alcohol, but authorities could not determine whether it was an accident, suicide, or something more sinister. However, her family held one man accountable: Nick Gordon. The aftermath. In 2016, Nick was found legally responsible for Chrissy's death in a civil suit, ordered to pay $36 million in damages. Though he denied any wrongdoing, his reputation was tarnished. He later fell into his own cycle of addiction, ultimately dying from an overdose in 2020. Bobbi Brown and the Houston family were left to mourn yet another tragedy. A young woman, full of potential, lost too soon. The eerie parallels between Whitney and Chrissy's lives left many questioning whether this was fate, a cruel cycle of inherited pain, or a preventable tragedy that no one had stopped in time. A legacy of love and loss. Bobbi Kristina Brown's life was shaped by her mother's legacy, both the triumphs and the demons. She longed to carve out her own identity, but was constantly pulled back by the past. Her death was not just the loss of Whitney Houston's daughter, it was the loss of a young woman who had never been given the stability, guidance, and love she needed to thrive. As we look back, we must ask ourselves, how many more lives will be lost to the pressures of fame, family trauma, and addiction? How can we ensure that the next generation breaks free from these cycles of destruction? Chrissy wanted nothing more than to be with her mother, and in the end, she got her wish. But perhaps the real tragedy is that she never had the chance to truly live, on her own terms, in her own light. If you found this documentary insightful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the most compelling stories of our time. Your support helps us bring you more content like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.